and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Walking with J.Beau, an almost daily walking vlog, which lately seems like it's an almost weekly walking vlog. But anyway, we are walking today. It is December 26th, day after Christmas. I hope everybody had a beautiful Christmas. I enjoyed it. We had a nice family gathering thing type at the range like we usually do. Exchange gifts. It was a lot of fun. And chocolate chip cookies. Shot some bullets. And my older brother gave me a pistola, a revolver. Tanfoglio. A Tanfoglio revolver. It's a very interesting history behind it. It's a single action 22 LR. And made in Italy, and actually made very well. And it's in fine condition, almost mint. Looks like it had a little bit of storage humidity. Cleaned up nicely and rubbed it down with oil. Disassembled it, check everything. So, I'm gonna get off this snow. Walking on snow sucks. Don't know why this is here. This is strange. They usually plow the snow so it's not like this. So it's like, oh, I know what happened. There were a couple of cars parked here, and they went around the cars and didn't plow. And this is usually why you get towed for doing that. But I don't know if they had a parking ban in effect, because we only got 3 inches of snow, maybe 4. Probably looks like a lot more than that, but it wasn't too bad. So anyway, I haven't walked in 8 days. Oh, by the way, that Tanfoglio revolver, I need to make a video on that for the channel. Found out it's a 1987, according to the stamp on the side of the receiver. The frame, I mean. And so they stopped making them around 1990. And it turns out the Heritage Rough Rider, which is owned by Taurus, came up with the Heritage Rough Rider designed from this Tanfoglio, which had been distributed at the time period that I got mine by Excam, EXCAM, in Florida. So mine is a 1987. It's pretty cool. I'll wait till this car goes by so I can cross. So then I got the RS-22 rifle, Rossi, with the wood stock. for a Christmas present, which I think he knew about already, which is pretty awesome. Now right now we got 32 degrees while we're walking. Sun is out, as you can see. Now you're probably watching and saying, geez, it's cold, 32 degrees. Well, it's kind of chilly. I'm dressed for it. The sun is out. And 32 is not too bad. 32 and up is walkable. Under 32 can be walkable if there's bright sunshine and no wind at all, like today. But I rarely do that. And we also are going to be warming up to unseasonably warm temperatures well into next week. So I will be walking. I will be walking. I gotta watch out for traffic today. It's been cold and the weather hasn't been good, and people start forgetting to look for people walking. So anyway, I am wearing my hiking boots today, which I do not enjoy as much as my nice comfortable Reeboks, but these are pretty comfortable and they're not too heavy. I have heavy winter boots, but I don't go hiking in them because they are heavy winter boots. So anyway, we've got a lot of cool stuff going on in the world since we last spoke. We had the media news cycle about Elon Trump. That's what they were calling him, President Elon, being a shadow president and Trump is a puppet. It's ridiculous things like that. And saw an article by The Hill today. I don't even remember the article title. It was so horrible. It's like the Trump honeymoon is over now. The media is going to go back to what gets them ad revenue and continue to killing their own business. Really stupid. The article I saw was by The Hill. And we also had another article that was by Newsweek and some other ones talking about how the speakership, the House Speaker, Republican Speaker, has infighting going on, and how having a House Speaker battle could possibly delay Trump's certification for president. And this is the kind of thing I was talking about with the Republicans. You've heard me say it on my last walk and walks before that. The Republicans need to stop this effing infighting. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter if the infighting is justified. Don't air your dirty laundry in public for the media and Democrats to use against you. If you don't like what Mike Johnson did with the continuing resolution, which turned out to be an omnibus on its own until Trump intervened, thankfully, and the Democrats lost just about everything they wanted, and Trump did not get the debt ceiling increase that he wanted. That's something that Democrats are going to use against the Republicans later. But Republicans can vote to change that. Both parties have wanted to get rid of it years ago. Every time somebody comes in power, they want a debt ceiling increase so they can spend more money. And the reason why Trump needs the debt ceiling increase is he wants to give everybody tax breaks. He wants to give no tax on tips. He wants to give all of these no tax on Social Security. Well, you need to change the debt ceiling to do that. Democrats are going to have to explain to their constituents why they voted against lowering taxes. So again, that's not our problem. But we do need to get something done with that. And we need to have Republican infighting just stop. Great, we're not a member of the cult, we're the collective hive. Everybody says and does the same thing, I get it. But have those fights behind closed doors. Republicans basically don't have the same kind of donor money that Democrats have. So Republicans have to make a stink about everything. Whether it's trans people using the restroom in the Capitol, to whatever else. Because they need the soapbox so they can raise money. And they all do it. The trans bathroom thing in the Capitol, they passed their resolution ensuring that trans people use neutral or sex they were assigned at birth, because the Capitol has neutral restrooms already. So it really wasn't something that should have been that big a news item, but it turned into one, I guess is my point, because a couple of Republicans fundraised off it. Nancy Mace, you may think she's wonderful and great, but she isn't really. She promoted vaccines, she promoted the masks, she promoted firing people that didn't comply with it. So she does whatever the current thing is to raise money. So I don't like people like that. I'm never going to support people like that. Chip Roy is another one. You see Chip Roy speaking, he gets you all pumped up. Yeah, yeah. And then he does the opposite. It's all talk. It's all fundraising, soapboxing. And unfortunately, the Republicans have a problem with that. Democrats do it too. But we're used to them doing it. AOC is a master at it. So is Ilhan Omar. So right now, though, all they're going to succeed in doing is they're going to harm the Republican Party and harm Trump's presidency. Because unity is what we need right now. We don't need that crap. So that's my opinion on that. And again, like I always say, if your opinion differs, give me a shout out in the comments. Even if your opinion agrees and you want to say something about it, go ahead and do that too. So today things are kind of softening up weather-wise. I might not look at like it on film, even though we're not using film. I guess young people today still say they're filming something, because when they read an article about a movie, they're filming a new movie. So I guess that's not going away, but technically there's no film to be exposed and developed. So I have not walked in 8 days. Feeling pretty good so far. It takes about a month or two to really lose what you gained. I am going to do 6 miles today. So, you see a car in a field with snow on it. So if you are just tuning in, watching me for the first time walking, typically I walk almost every day, at least 5 miles every time. Today we're going to do 6, mainly because I want to get a good walk in, because I haven't walked for 8 days, but also because it's good to come out here and get some sunshine, even though the only thing exposed to sun is my face. So this time of year you still have to do the vitamin D thing. So I saw a trailer for the new Superman movie, and you know, it looks pretty good. DC Comics, Superman. I've always been a Superman fan, and they're gonna have Lex Luthor in this one when he's younger, and it's gonna be interesting because it's got an awful lot of CGI, because that's what they do now, and I still don't like the look of a lot of it for superhero films. And unfortunately, this has that same look. But the truth of the matter is, the biggest movie-going audience is young people. So the young people love it. I like the old-fashioned movie making. I think they could combine both. I think the best thing to do is only use CGI when it's absolutely necessary, rather than just doing all CGI. Because no matter how good they make it, so a lot of times it ends up looking like, okay, he's on an indoor stage with a green background. I mean, it almost looks like his reactions and acting matches what he's doing, but you can tell there's nothing in the room. Sometimes you can see that. So anyway, but it does look pretty decent as far as the true to Superman stories go. Also had a super dog in it, Krypton. So anyway, oh, that sun feels nice. I'm wearing a black hoodie. That's warming me up nicely right now. All right, so I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see me squint at the sun and make ugly Popeye faces like me. So anyway, hi everybody. I'm dressed for winter. Today is warm enough where my hands won't freeze. So that's good. Peace, brothers. So I watched a I watched a speech clip, translated of course, of Vladimir Putin speaking, and he says he's not really sure what Trump's stance is on Ukraine joining NATO, but Putin was asked if Ukraine was considered to not be ready to join NATO and should wait another 10 years, if Russia would be satisfied with that. And he basically said, well, 10 years isn't that long a time, which it isn't, and we don't want NATO outside our country, which is what caused this conflict. The West paints it as Putin wants to conquer land like Hitler did, and that Europe would be threatened by Russia later. Now, you have to do your research away from the media, unfortunately. Look at past treaties that NATO has broken, especially go back to 1990, 1991. The collapse of the Soviet Union, the communist Soviet Union, collapsed, and Gorbachev, at the time, wanted basically NATO to stop encroaching. Because during the Cold War they were doing missiles in certain countries pointed at Russia, and that was part of the Cold War, and Russia wanted that gone. They didn't want that. So, cross over here. They didn't want that. And NATO, since 1990, has been encroaching on Russia ever since, ignoring that treaty. And now NATO is right outside on land that used to belong to Russia. People seem to forget. Forget that fact. So that was the whole thing that led to the invasion of Ukraine and Crimea when Obama was president. The Western media lies about it, and they don't tell you the truth. But that is a fact, verifiable. You can research that yourself. And NATO has been encroaching on Russia. So the first thing Putin talks about in any peace talks, or having any, has to do with NATO getting out of Ukraine, and Ukraine not belonging to NATO. NATO has to stop encroaching on Russia. There's been a Russia thing with NATO because it's driven by the globalists. I've talked about this a million times, who own all the banks, distribution, food distribution, fuel. They own everything, including the media and our politicians, most of them. So getting things done is very difficult. So Putin invaded Ukraine, probably thought the war wouldn't last as long as it did. Probably figured maybe the West didn't have the stomach for another Afghanistan, is what I think he thought. And he was wrong. So I think Putin miscalculated on that, but I think he would have done it anyway, regardless, even if he knew this would have happened. Because he feels he has to. I mean, this is the equivalent of the enemy massing outside Texas and Mexico. And we wouldn't stand for that for 2 seconds. You and I both know that. So I watched Ukraine drones crash into apartment buildings, and you know, it's not good. It's not good. People are guessing 500,000 to 700,000 dead Russians, and probably about the same amount of Ukrainians dead. Over 1 million people. Might even be worse than that. And you know, this has to end, because it's only going to get worse. That's why we voted for Trump. If Trump can't get any peace deal done there isn't going to be one. So, and that would be really bad. So anyway, we're walking on. Next thing I'm going to talk about is pretty nasty. Bothered me for a couple days. Literally, it really did. Psychologically. Was that migrant in New York City in the subway that lit that homeless woman on fire. And then he stood there and sat there and watched her burn, enjoying the work he did. At one point he stands up waving a towel at her, helping her burn faster apparently. And he has been arrested. But just like that, that puts the migrant spotlight and why people voted for Trump in the first place in the spotlight, and vindicated everything that was said by Republicans about migrants. And you know what really bothered me about that, seriously, is the poor woman. Okay, she's homeless. She was probably heavily intoxicated with either alcohol or some kind of illegal substance, whatever, because she knew she was on fire and she couldn't do anything about it. She just stood there and burned. You could tell she was out of it. So most people would have woken up and threw their jacket off and started screaming or doing something. Yeah, she just burned. And this guy set her on fire with a basic lighter. I guess there was no accelerant or anything. He just lit her on fire and she never woke up. I don't know. 7 o'clock in the morning. Homeless people sleep on the subways often. And it was a bad day for her. So she's standing there burning, and you can see her clothes melting, falling off her. I watched the uncensored video, a couple different angles, and I really wish they wouldn't censor that stuff, because people need to see that. I told you about that with 9/11, people jumping from the buildings. They showed that footage for about a day, and then all of them stopped showing it. The networks didn't know what to do, and they even canceled comedy shows. All the comedy shows got canceled and pulled off the air. Really bizarre behavior by the media and the networks. Now we know why they did that, because they're controlled. That's what they wanted. They wanted the chaos and drama. Anyway, what bothers me is I watched the video, and this transit authority worker, security, officer, walks by the doorway where she's standing there on fire, talking on his walkie-talkie. And then a few seconds later, he comes walking by again, talking. Nobody did anything to help this woman. Nobody did anything. My natural reaction would be, and should have been the priority of that worker in the subway, was 1, put the fire out. 2, save a life. No particular order, but those are the two important things, right? Try to save her life and put the fire out. Didn't do either of those, none of those. I'm sure the New York subway has fire extinguishers all over the place. Right there. Each subway car has one in it. The train was stopped. It could have got a fire extinguisher in another subway car if that one was too hot because it was burning. Nobody did anything. It's unbelievable. I think that's really what bothered me. It wasn't the fact that a person was set on fire. It's New York City. There's mental illness there. And, but nobody helped her. It really bothers me that nobody cared. That transit worker seemed, to me, without knowing, it seemed to me like, because eventually she was put out and treated, but she died. Her injuries were too extensive. But to me, it looked like the worker was more concerned about the traffic jam it was causing with the trains. Like, how do we solve this? And just totally ignored the girl that's burning. And that is a sick problem, bystander syndrome, that we have in this country. And the other thing, and I'm gonna swear because I need to, the fucking asshole recording it with his fucking cell phone. Whoa! Damn! Hey dude, seriously, put your fucking phone down and try to put the fucking woman out and save her life, you fucking asshole. You know? Tired of seeing that. And it's always the same people doing it. And you know what I'm talking about. Damn! Whoa! Oh my God, she's on fire! Yeah, well, go put it out. That would have been my instinct. I would have thrown my own jacket on it. People are like, well, maybe people were afraid to get burned. Who cares? Look how she was being burned. I mean, that day I was walking on my route, busy, rush hour traffic, bumper to bumper cars. They're all driving 30, 40 miles an hour. And this little girl in a diaper runs right out into the road. Did I stand around with my camera going, oh, wow, yeah? No. I have that on camera because I had it on my head. Didn't have to hold it. It was just on already because I was recording my walk. I went right out in the road immediately, stopped both lanes of traffic, and then somebody else went in the road and got the baby. That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, I could have been hit by a car, but I'm 56 years old, and that was a little baby in diapers. Then a couple of minutes after the baby was pulled to the side, this large woman was frantically running around about a block and a half away. Oh my God, where is she? The little baby had wandered off under her watch. So, anyway, thought I'd share that with you. So, starting to sweat. Took a couple miles this time because it's colder. But like I said, sun's out and there's no wind. Whenever there's no wind, it's good. I'm gonna switch hands here. So anyway, that's my commentary on that stuff. I mean, we got so many people today with a lack of empathy, selfishness. They don't care about anything but themselves. And, you know, what would happen, you know, let's say they were on fire. And what's funny about it is they would be upset that nobody helped them. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, right? So, anyway, the woman's dead. A lot of people's eyes have been opened to immigration because of it, unfortunately, that way. And the media was forced to report on something very important that had to do with that incident. In case you didn't know, that migrant came to the United States in 2018 on Trump's watch, was detained and deported. He came back in after Biden was president, and they changed the border policy. That is the important distinction. If they had kept Trump's policies in place, he would not have come back, and that girl wouldn't have been burned by him. That's just the way it is, folks. So, the Biden-Harris administration organized this, did this on purpose. They wanted the border open because they want migrants to flood into red states. Texas, okay? They want to turn Texas blue. And they have deposited migrants all across the country, and they were targeting red states. Missouri, it's another one. And the only reason why New York was getting migrants is because Texas was sending them there. Republican states were like, we're full. You guys are doing this. We're going to send them to you. And that became a news headline on its own. But that got the job done, didn't it? That's why Trump was elected. It's like the most important topic with voters besides the economy. Economy being number one. So, these people did this to us on purpose for politics. That's what the globalists want. They did that in Europe, they did that in the UK, and they're finding out it doesn't work. See this? This is a jug I just found. And then we're going to shoot cycle this. I'm going to fill it with water, bring it to the range next time we go, and I'm going to carry it home with me. So whenever I see one of these, I always grab it on my walks. So thankfully it's not too cold to carry something. And if you do hear some rattling, I'm going to carry this camera because my selfie stick is kind of loose and it's wobbly. If I move it, it moves. Sorry about that. The camera does have a stabilizer that's really good though, so I don't think it'll be too bad. Yeah, I think that'll work. Keep this view. So anyway, oh, that's too wobbly. Let's see if I can fix this here. Oh, there we go. Success! So anyway, I'm going to shoot cycle kitty litter container. And these things go up pretty good with 30-30, 7.62 by 39, 308, 30-06, shotgun slugs, .357 Magnum doesn't quite have enough pop to really explode something this size. 44 Magnum does. So anyway, it's happy to walk with you guys again. Really enjoy walking and talking. All right, so now we're going to talk about the inauguration. What do you think the left has planned this year for Trump's inauguration? Are they going to cause a violent riot, which will cancel by trying to cancel the inauguration? I don't know what's going to happen. I would hope there would be National Guard on hand just in case. Proper barriers set up so nobody drives their car into a crowd of people. Washington, D.C. sidewalks all around the Capitol are pretty protected by these steel and concrete barriers that you can't drive through. And people aren't going to be standing in the road. So we'll see what happens. But on the other hand, I'm not really seeing the same anti-Trumpism we saw. Trump won the popular vote this time. More people voted for him this time than he ever got votes for. And Biden is so horrible. Democrat policies are so horrible that they have lost a lot of people on their side, their stomach and will to fight. But you're still going to have that bottom feeder group that will, I don't know how they're paid. Some of them are paid. What I mean by paid is these .orgs, organized groups. Black Lives Matter has been looking and itching for a protest. The Daniel Penny verdict, they had threatened to riot nationally. Never happened. So they're losing a lot of their luster. It's worn off. The shiny penny has been tarnished. So my personal prediction is we're going to have some people at the inauguration cause problems. I don't think it's going to be a widespread riot. I think it'll be small pockets. I think it'll be contained quickly. And you know, January 6th, turns out 26 undercover FBI agents were in the crowd, and it has not been revealed yet if they were actually instigating, although a lot of people believe they were. I need to see the proof for myself. I believe they were causing problems there on purpose, instigating violence. But again, I need to see the proof of that. The only proof I have so far is Ray Epps was walking around telling people to go to the Capitol and that they were going to break inside and cause a problem. And everybody else got arrested for even coming close to doing that. And he was never charged. So he was an FBI asset. I'll bet money on it. Again, hasn't been verified. So I don't want to spread false rumor on here. But this is a time for everybody to be a patriot. It's the time to wear your MAGA gear. If you've been watching my walks, when it's warm enough, I've been wearing my MAGA hats. And a couple, 3 years ago, might have got some guff for it, but now, nope, nobody cares anymore. So that's why I'm thinking we're not going to see widespread rioting like we did before. And in fact, the Democrats are trying to find their footing, and so is the media. So it looks like some of the media is going to try to do their clickbait headlines, anti-Trump stuff,
be as controversial as possible to get the ad revenue, which is all it is, really. But people are tired of that. They can do it if they want to, but they're just destroying what's left of their product, and you know, I'm all for that, actually. So go ahead. So there are some very blue places in Maine. Like, I don't know what would happen if I wore a MAGA hat in downtown Portland inside a restaurant. Somebody might ask me to take it off, refuse to serve me. A patron might throw their glass at me, like I saw a video of earlier today somewhere else. Not in Maine, but you get the idea. And, you know, these people have mental illness. Trump derangement syndrome. True story. So, we are going to, we'll get through it. It's going to be an inauguration. We'll see if the media is going to play the dirty tricks they did last time with Trump's inauguration, saying that he didn't have a good crowd that showed up by showing a picture from earlier in the day when people were still showing up. So, they like to do that. Hi, how are you? So, hi. So, we remember all the attacks by the media after Trump first got elected. Every little thing he did turned into a news cycle. And we're not seeing that as much, not even close. So, the closest they could come is somebody they do want to attack. Because right now he's more of a danger than Donald Trump, and that's Elon Musk. And why is Elon Musk a danger to Democrats and the left? Because he has been openly criticizing Germany. One, for censoring X. And two, for arresting people that have an opinion in Germany. Free speech. And also, their politics of forcing people to comply with transgenderism, public affirmation, or you go to jail for a hate crime. So if some guy has a beard, calls himself a girl in Germany, and you use the wrong pronoun, you can get arrested by calling him sir. So Elon has made many references about financing conservatives in Germany, their party campaigns, and he's got enough money to do it. His net worth, I think right now, is 480 something billion. Richest person in the world. He's got the money to do it, and he's going to keep making more money. So his entire Tesla company could fail, and he'll still have SpaceX and everything else he's in. So he spent $260 million on Trump, and because he doesn't like what was happening to America. And that's what we need. Plus a lot of people donated money besides him. And Kamala Harris had over $1 billion. And they lost. And they squandered the money. So there's a lot of sense of entitlement by Democrats that they just assumed they were going to win. Just put a face on a bubblegum card and, you know, it's a shoo-in. But it's not. So they misread what Americans are going through. Don't tell people the economy's good when they can't afford to buy bread. That would be a good start. Or eggs, or meat, or eat anything they used to eat because they can't afford it. Don't tell people the economy's good and, you know, we're too dumb to notice. So they did a lot of things like that. And don't tell people that a man can turn himself into another sex. Can't happen. Anybody that's trans, God bless you. Live your life. Live and let live. But don't force an ideology cult on other people and force other people to acknowledge or affirm your existence. It's not how it works. Not in America. Never has for anything. So anyway, be what you want to be in America. Live your own personal life, your own lifestyle. Gay, straight, bi, trans, whatever. Nobody cares. I don't care. But don't indoctrinate kids with an obvious neo-Marxist transgender ideology in schools like they do here in Maine and expect it not to have any backlash, which it has. The Democrats almost lost the House and Senate here, the legislature. They're holding each just by a few seats, not very much. So they're going to have a tough time passing things, and it's going to give some of the lesser known Republicans more of a soapbox to stand on, like I was talking about earlier, soapboxes. Because now they're going to have a little bit more power in their vote. But that's how democracy functions. We'll deal with that. It does mean it's going to be more difficult for them to pass gun legislation. Not that a lot of, even the Democrats aren't really eager to do that in Maine. A handful of radicals are. Progressives. Our governor here used to be a serious progressive, and she's kind of changed because she saw the political winds changing before they did. She actually vetoed 3 pieces of gun legislation that were passed by Democrats. She should have vetoed the child trafficking trans bill, but she didn't because, and that didn't go anywhere in the Senate either here until they attached abortion to it. That was the hot political item at the time. Apparently progressive women love killing babies, I'm assuming, since it's so important to them. I guess that's the only thing we can surmise from that. And they got their way in Maine. And the reason why this bill wasn't popular was, I call it the child trafficking bill, trans/child trafficking, because if transitioning children is illegal in another state, Maine is offering sanctuary without extradition. So law enforcement is instructed not to obey the other state's extradition orders. So the state is controlling law enforcement through legislation. And I'm not seeing any lawsuits filed. Not seeing anything. But it's disheartening. Right? So I don't know what the deal is with that, but we'll see what happens this year. Legislative session is going to be starting up beginning of the year. So we're going to see what kind of changes were made for everybody at that point. January into February, or February, if you want to say it properly. Now I am quite warm. Feels good. I was itching to go walking. I haven't had 8 days off since last winter. We had one day with 30-mile-an-hour winds. I think the wind chill was 0 degrees Fahrenheit for a high temperature. So now that it's 32, it feels like summer. So I'm glad we only got 4 inches of snow. It was enough. Was enough to use a snowblower. It was borderline, in between. It was light, fluffy stuff like powder. It's always easy to clean if you have to use a push scoop, which I don't mind doing if there's only 2 to 3 inches. All right, there you go, everyone. I had to change the battery, so we'll walk this way. So it's very nice to be able to walk today. I'll get my 6 miles in. It says here 3.4 miles. One of those electric cars. Apparently it's set to make a weird noise when you back up, so people can hear you, because the damn things don't make any noise. I'm noticing a lot of these streets where they didn't plow very well on the side. I don't know what's up with that. Never seen that before. I'm assuming cars were parked there. I guess. I mean, it was Christmas Eve when we got the snow, so we did have a white Christmas. If you're wondering what a white Christmas looks like, here it is. Except the snow that was on the trees has all fallen off now. But it's one of those Rockwell painting Christmas depictions. It was nice. See that? I like cars you can hear. Now we got 3.5 miles. Now I haven't walked for 8 days. My lower back muscle on my right side is starting to tighten up. Something that happens because of a back injury in 2005.
Remember when Hurricane Katrina was happening, I was laid up in bed. And all I did was I ended up gaining a lot of weight over 2-3 months from inactivity due to my back. Of course, my diet was different then. But I did catch up on all the episodes of Battlestar Galactica. So when we get the amount of snow that we have now, I'm not going to walk on those backcountry roads because there's no sidewalks to begin with. And I would have to walk on a lot of stuff like this right here, which can be very slippery if there's ice underneath it that you don't see. And you could get injured. I don't want to get injured. So, but coming up, we're going to have temperatures almost 40 degrees tomorrow. And then we're going to have in the 40s Friday. Saturday is going to be about 40. Sunday is really going to warm up. Monday is going to be warm, but we're going to get a lot of rain. So there's going to be a couple of days where at night, if it's raining, it might turn to freezing rain, which isn't a problem unless we get high winds with it, which I'm not hearing about. So I don't anticipate losing power. But if you are new to the walks, last year, December 18th, I think it was, or 17th, we had a wicked storm. 70-mile-an-hour winds. After having record rainfall all year, the ground was saturated, so all of these pine trees, mainly, all these trees uprooted and fell all over the state. Hundreds of thousands of people without power. I was one of them. Went without power for about 5 days. Was not fun. Had to run a generator. The weather was mild though. The weather was mild. And we ended up having mid to upper 20s overnight. During the day it was in the 40s, which was good. I only really had to worry about not freezing to death overnight, so pipes wouldn't burst and things like that. And we had 2 stretches last year from 2 storms where the power went out. They keep yakking about climate change. The liberal media is still yakking about catastrophic storms caused by global warming or climate change. They're still going on and hanging on to that. Anyway, that battery I just had ran out early, so I'm thinking that it wasn't fully charged. So we put the backup in there.
we're still good. I don't think I've ever had a battery go dead at less than 3.5 miles. So it must have been flat. It's been sitting there for 8 days not being used. So maybe there's something residual, internal, that always runs. Maybe GPS, something like that. I don't know, even when it's off. But I have been on walks before where this sidewalk had not been cleaned yet. So it was impossible to walk on it, and there's too much traffic to walk in the street. So I actually changed my route on a side street. But it's open today. So anyway, my God, man. Some of the things we're seeing. You know, and I really hate to say that about that woman burned up in the subway. But her burning up in the subway did as much as Laken Riley being killed to elect Donald Trump. And Donald Trump has been elected. And what kills me about it is this woman gets burned up. 3 hours later, Governor Hochul is recording herself on a subway talking about how safe they are. How friggin' tone deaf do you have to be? People have been calling for her to resign. It was one of the stupidest unforced errors we've ever seen. Surely she must have heard about it. And you have to remember, conservatives won a lot in this election in New York. So, you know, she just made a free campaign ad for anybody that's going to be running against her when she runs for re-election. So, people want change. And one way or the other, they're going to get it. They're either going to get real change or they're going to get fake change. Pretty easy for politicians to say, I'm going to change everything and fix it, and then not actually do it. Now, that's not to say somebody can promise something, but, and it's done. There are going to be a couple of things Trump wants to do he doesn't get done. But the point is, he wants to do it, and will try to do it. A lot of these politicians, like Kamala, say what they need to get elected, and then they never do anything, or even try. And they usually have a complicit media that lies for them. And it's not working anymore. The media is not working for the Democrats anymore like they were. They are some, but they understand the full gravity of what people voted for and how big a win this was for the Republicans and how big a loss it was for Democrats. And the media lost too. They're not surviving right now. In fact, it would not surprise me if The View is either canceled or everybody on it, with the exception of maybe one, gets fired and they bring in new people. And I have heard about a rival daily show like that with women that will be all conservatives with a token Democrat on it to argue with. So they're going to offer direct competition for The View's lunacy. And I think ABC, with Bob Iger, may just cancel The View, because right now The View is taking ABC News down with it. They're associated together because ABC News is owned by Disney,
Bob Iger is the CEO, and he's also the CEO in charge of decisions on ABC for The View and things like that. And the reason why I know things are changing is there was a new animated feature that was going to be a TV series, okay? Animated TV series that Disney has decided to axe the woke DEI and remove the trans character from it because the public backlash against that garbage. So anyway, they decided to change all that. On their own. So make no mistake, we're winning that war. They just saw nationwide elections where Republicans ran anti-transgender ideology ads against indoctrinating children. And Republicans won just about every single one of those districts nationwide, local elections and national. So the message has been sent out that it is a political loser and people don't want it. I don't know why it took them so long to figure it out. I think it has to do with billionaires who fund TV networks and politicians. Globalists. The globalist I'm always yakking about. So anyway, you still have these people online that have to say, what exactly is woke? Because woke means that you're being empathetic and seeing what's going on with minorities. I said, yeah, woke politics. That's what's wrong. That's exactly what's wrong. Thank you for pointing that out. It's like these people are still clueless. They don't know what woke means when we use it in a derogatory fashion. So they have programmed these people and it's not working. So how do you deprogram millions of people that you have brainwashed? You're going to have to change the way you do everything. Now, I've seen some Democrats on TV saying, well, we can still keep the same policies and just change our messaging. Nah, nope. I highly encourage you to do that. Yes, please. Keep doing that. We want to keep winning. So a lot of these people are clueless. And the person I am referencing right now is someone I saw earlier today who worked on Hillary Clinton's campaign against Trump. So they still don't get it, which is good. It's fine with me. Keep on not getting it, and we'll keep winning. So a lot of corporations have announced they're dropping DEI next year, 2025. Walmart is one of them. They made that announcement. Microsoft is another one. They were one of the first ones. And a lot of these companies are dropping it as policy with their employees because it's bad PR. And you can't shove gay down people's throats. They're either going to watch it or they're not. Now, go ahead and have a show that has a gay character in it if you want. But don't make that the main focus and put out all this propaganda messaging with it. Because there are gay people in the world. Live and let live, Republicans. Just be yourself on a damn show, you know? But no, they have to shove all the politics and everything else. They went on the Me Too movement for a while. Believe her. Believe her. So even when somebody makes up a sexual accusation, you have to believe her. It doesn't work that way. And that failed miserably. Because what happened? Harvey Weinstein popped up. Big Democrat donor. All of a sudden, Me Too was affecting them. So that went away pretty quickly. So I want to see people get prosecuted that deserve to be, that undermined our government, altered evidence, seditious behavior. If what I was saying with Pam Bondi, she'll be nominated as the AG. She's got 18 years experience as AG in Florida. She knows the law. She has a great record. She hasn't shown any bias. She will be confirmed. And she'll go after and prosecute people that deserve it if there is a crime to prosecute. She's not going to prosecute people if she's not going to win. You can't go charging somebody like Adam Schiff. Then you have a trial, and it turns out you couldn't convict him. That's a mistake they made with Trump, and then when they did convict him, it was obviously rigged with a crooked judge and a biased jury. So you have a trial against Adam Schiff. It's probably going to be in DC, and if it's in DC, he's going to have a very friendly jury. So there's a lot of things to think about like that, because that will help the Democrats to make Trump look like a dictator, and we can't have that. So only if you absolutely are going to get a conviction and you cannot argue the outcome. And I'm sure they can do that. So somebody will get prosecuted. They can start with the public official who refused to remove the ballots that didn't have signatures in Pennsylvania. She even said that on video. She soapboxed, and she broke the law. She ignored the Supreme Court of the state. She was forced to issue an apology, which she did. But you can't apologize for a crime you commit and expect not to be charged. Oh, I'm sorry I raped her, Your Honor. I wrote a letter saying I'm sorry. Is that good enough? No, it isn't. So that woman needs to be charged. And I'm pretty sure she will be. Now, there's been, if Liz Cheney, hi doggy, hi baby. So if Liz Cheney is found guilty, which she will be for witness tampering, that's the alleged crime I saw, because one of the witnesses said that they would testify, but they didn't really know anything, and they didn't feel like their testimony would be pertinent. She forced that person to testify with threats. And that's witness tampering. So that witness ended up testifying, giving a different story than what she originally said. So she may have been threatened and coerced to go along with the narrative of got to get Trump, and she may have perjured herself. So if Liz Cheney is charged with that, because that's what she did, if it's proven. She also destroyed evidence, which is illegal. Adam Kinzinger was in on that. And Trump has said that if these people broke the law, they will be prosecuted. So he said we're a nation of laws. And wouldn't that be funny if after they're convicted, Trump gives a speech and say nobody's above the law? Wouldn't that be the most hilarious thing? So we got a lot of stuff we're going to see. It's going to be interesting. So hang on, folks. Hang on. Still looks like they're sandblasting or something the outside of the church, cleaning all the tarnish off it and stuff from the rust. Not the rust, but the tarnish from the copper. Some spots on there got copper.
Looks nice. You can see some of it at the top, that green. They're working their way up. Ooh, having a good walk today. After not walking for 8 days. We're doing okay. It was nice hanging out with my younger brother for the last week or so. It was a good Christmas. It was fun. Shadows are getting long. You can see where the sun is right now. I mean, right now it's like it's probably 2:15 in the afternoon. And the sun looks like it's working its way down. Northern Hemisphere, there isn't that much daylight this time of year. But we're past the winter solstice, so every day now there'll be a little bit of time added to each day as far as daylight goes. Days are always 24 hours long, so I'm not trying to suggest the day is actually shorter. Longer night, shorter day. How's that? I'm sure you're intelligent enough to figure that out without me having to explain it. Some people on the internet, though, since they go out of their way to tell you that the day is still 24 hours long, it didn't get shorter, well, you're either an a-hole or a complete moron or both. If you don't understand that it's common knowledge that when somebody says the day is longer, it means there's more daylight. Because there's only 24 hours in a day, and that's it. Which, if you want to be technical about it, there's actually a little bit of a difference, because every 4 years they make up for it with a February 29th leap year. You want to be really technical about it. Ooh, walking in slush. So that's what's good about this warming up a bit, having some sunshine, as a lot of this stuff is starting to melt. That pavement is dark, it absorbs the sun, and it melts the snow faster. Could actually get my walk in today without too much trouble. So that's good. So, should be walking again tomorrow. Weather permitting, we are going to have some rainy days coming. But if it's the mid to upper 40s, close to 50 degrees, or in the low 50s and it's raining, I might just walk anyway. That's not too bad, actually. We just hit 5 miles. At the 5 mile mark. All right. Hope you enjoyed the walk today. Hope you're enjoying it. I'm gonna
flip the camera around up ahead here a little bit. I'll do it now. Hi, everybody. There we go. Still got my jug. It's always nice when it warms up a little bit like this after being so cold. We had a couple of days go start up the car and it was a little rough. So when I get back, I'll take a nice hot shower, get more comfortable. Have something to eat and be merry on this Merry Christmas. Alright, we're getting there. That knot in my back is loosening up now, which is okay. It was just telling me, hey, it's been a few days. Let me warm back up to walking. I still got to make a video for that lever action shotgun. We finally did shoot it. It was very cold. It was very windy. It was miserable. I got some footage shooting it, but not very much. Actually, probably would not make for a good video, but that's what I have. So unless we go shooting again between now and when I record my review of it, which I still haven't done, I'll probably end up using that footage. So that's what I got. Watch the traffic there. Look both ways before crossing the street. Now we're going to go by the section I walked on when we started this walk. Actually can see the footprints I made earlier. As you can see, it's quite lovely. One of these days, we'll do a walk across the street over that way. Thorn Craig Bird Sanctuary. We'll do a woods walk, gun talk. Been a little while since I've done one of those.
So, don't know what else to tell you. You know, we'll get through everything. Remember, we get the upper hand as far as Washington, D.C. and the government goes. We've got the trifecta. Very important. And I think it's going to be good. Unfortunately, Trump's going to have to police some of these rogue Republicans causing problems right now. And they're going to learn the hard way. When Trump wants a debt ceiling, and then you take the floor and you don't say anything bad about Trump, but you talk about the debt ceiling, anybody supporting that isn't a real conservative and all this other stuff, and you're going against Trump. So Chip Roy has already gotten a lot of backlash for that, and you don't want to piss off MAGA, okay? You just don't. It's too big. So they're going to have to figure that out. Meaning these conservatives, they're trying to be constitutionalist conservatives. That's all fine and good when everything else has been fixed and that's what's left to do. That's one thing. But right now you're just gumming up the works, creating disunity and dysfunction. That's going to get nothing done. It might raise you a couple of bucks with your constituents. But if that's all you care about, then you should be replaced by the voters anyway. So they tried to do that before midterms too. We had MTG going after Mike Johnson. And now we have other Republicans going after Mike Johnson, when they don't realize that what just happened with the CR thing was actually a win, because neither party got their pork products they wanted. They didn't get their pork, their spending. So that's a win. It's been many, many, many years since that has happened. So some of these Republicans are just looking for an excuse to fight other Republicans because they're fundraising. Trump needs to clamp down on that. We need a unified party. Crab and bitch all you want to behind the scenes, behind closed doors. Scream at other members if you have to. Let the media report it like so-and-so is reportedly screaming at the other one. But don't do it in public. Now the other thing I want to see Adam Schiff prosecuted for, and Eric Swalwell as well, is leaking classified information from security briefings and things like that about Trump, pushing the Russia collusion hoax. Adam Schiff needs to face consequences for that. That's against the law. That was classified information that he leaked. So I don't believe there's any protection because you were in Congress for that. You can be protected from liability, from being sued, but if you actually leaked the information to use to defame and have a Russia collusion hoax and impeachment trials, and that's all stuff they fabricated. The phone call with Ukraine was another one. So anyway, we're coming up towards the end of the walk. I want to thank you for walking with me. Thank you for listening to me babble. Hope you enjoyed it. And we could shoot cycling jugs. So click like and subscribe, share the content, and I will see you on the next walk, which hopefully won't be too long. Like I said, it's all weather dependent, but we finally had a break in the weather, warmed up, nice sunshine with no wind, and I went for a walk and you went with me. So until next time, friends, God bless you and your family. Stay out of trouble, and we'll see you on the next walk. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.